We are live. Hello, 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 Facebook. It's Urban Law, Business and Credit, the Urban Law Perspective, coming to you once again for Season 2, Episode 2 of the Law, Business and Credit Show. And I am joined by my partner in crime and my partner in business, Mr. Charles Irvin. How you doing, Charles?
I'm doing wonderful, sir. Been a pretty good, productive day. Happy Friday to everyone that's tuned in.
Absolutely, absolutely. We're going to be got some guests that's going to be coming in joining us here later in the show. But I wanted to just take a minute to talk about and frame what we wanted to talk about today. But before we even do that, just kind of recap the guests on what we talked about last week. Bring everybody up to speed in case they were not with us last week. And of course, they're with us this week. So let's start there, Charles.
Sure. First things first, tell everyone about the show. You can always go back and rewatch episodes, but let them know so they can tune in live, ask their questions, and what have you. One key thing to know about these shows is you can continue to ask questions on the thread. Last week, we were talking about you asked me a key question, something that people could do at an affordable price point for themselves and their families. And we touched on how affordable it would be to get a will as opposed to how costly it would be to pass away and leave your family without instructions on how to take care of your property and other things. And so that's kind of where we ended. Of course, we talked about the new move into the new office space, and we're working out the kinks there. We're in transition. Everything's coming along quite nicely there. It's been a sprint of a week. Tupelo to Maryland to Jackson and parts unknown.
That's kind of an adventurous week. Did you say Tupelo to Maryland?
That's right. That's right. You know, we're in the middle of some litigation, and that's all I'll say about that. But needless to say, it puts us on the road. And I think I touched on that in the last episode. We spend most of our time on the road warriors, getting out there, meeting with clients, supporting clients, and telling their stories. And so that's all a part of it, all in a day's work. The last 2 days have been in court here in Hinds County with very good results. Clients are happy. And that's really what we shoot for every time we go into the arena, is to take care of their cases, tell their stories, make sure that they get the outcomes that they're seeking.
Well, that's important. I mean, that's our main goal. One of the things we kind of wanted to frame up today, and as we kind of get started and look at the whole concept of the show today, it's all about the small business, really. And we hear all the time about, really the law and getting help as a small business person is really not affordable. The costs are just outside the reach of the typical small business owner, and they desperately need the help. And I know we have spent many hours figuring out a way to meet that need, and to do so at a price point that helps them not only start, but we also work very hard to help them grow. And as they grow, we grow with them. So you want to talk a little bit about that in terms of the framework of that and how we even came about really catering to the small business profession.
Well, I think those type of things grow out of questions from business owners, to be honest. We've had several clients over the years that were not clients at the time, but they all say, "Hey, can I ask you a legal question for free?" And that's common in the business. People want to ask you questions for free, but they were asking out of necessity, and that necessity was basically fear of the unknown. They knew they needed an attorney to get their business house in order, but they were afraid that they couldn't afford it. And so we started looking at that and thinking about all the things that you need in day-to-day business, whether it's HR compliance, tax questions, legal questions, and trying to build out a suite of support for those businesses that will help them be able to focus on what they're great at.
No, that makes
in a
sense.
range that's not going to break the bank. And so that's where we started. And so today, it's evolved into us being able to help them seek to build their business credit, also, serve as general counsel to help them with compliance issues, and a whole host of things in between. And that's just on the for-profit side. We also handle nonprofits. We help them with board training, compliance, employee disputes, you name it. It's a whole list of stuff that we're here to be able to help them at an affordable price point. And because we understand it, you with almost 20 years in the nonprofit sector, me as 20 years in the practice of law, and across that business client, we're able to bring a unique skill set.
It's good that you mentioned that. And, we're going to be joined today here in a minute. We'll be bringing in a special guest today, Mr. Shon Harris, who represents that segment of the market. In fact, I think he's here, and we're going to go ahead and bring him on in.
All right.
Mr. Harris, Shon Harris, how you doing today?
I'm doing fine, sir. How about yourself?
Doing wonderful, doing
Okay.
wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Let me just play with a couple things, make sure we got everybody in here. Okay. And
Thank y'all for having me. It's my pleasure to be here.
Mr. Harris, Mr. Harris, pull your screen down just a little bit so we can see. There we go.
Okay,
yeah,
yeah, I'm trying to get plugged in.
there we go. There we go. There we go. Give you the highlight there. I like that better. So, as we're in, and again, we do have Mr. Harris here. And just so you know, Mr. Harris, we were talking about how and I worked real hard to create a venue or opportunity or platform where the small business person could actually get the resources and help they need to grow their business and put themselves in a better position to grow and to expose them to some possibilities and opportunities that they perhaps didn't know about, as well as handle all the day-to-day challenge that comes up, whether reviewing a contract, whether it's dissolving a corporation or entity, creating a new one, all the nuances that come with just everyday business that are not necessarily part of the core business in which the person operates. It's all the stuff that you have to do that you really don't know what you're doing because your business is this, but then there's the business of the business, and that's what we tend to take care of. So, um, let me just ask you, how did you come to hear about urban law? Tell us about what your first experience with urban law even was.
Well, I met Charles Irvin just haphazardly through friends and family, and he's proven to be an admirable character. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's never a question about his integrity or anything like that. Uh, what happened with me was I got into a situation where my credit score had started falling, and I contacted him based on his credit expertise and his knowledge as a consultant for businesses and especially small businesses, and in an effort to help me become better. So he pointed me in the direction of yourself, and y'all did it together. And what's happened is I've experienced success based on following the model that you guys provide. So me getting to know Charles was just happenstance, but him being the person that he is what led us to where we are now, with yourself
That's a,
included.
well, that's a beautiful
Tell,
thing. Charles, you
tell,
know,
tell them a little bit about what you do and who you represent. Tell them about the Good Spirit Way.
Well, I own a bartending service here in Jackson, Mississippi called Good Spirits Bartending Service. Basically, what we do is we provide professional bartenders for private functions, events, and parties. Um, my interaction with Urban Law Firm was to get my business structure correct. Uh, they taught me about a lot of things that I did not know as far as how to navigate the credit world and things like that. Leslie himself explained to me that they're not a credit repair company, they're a credit education company. So once you know how to maneuver in these, capacities, you will always be fine. If I just repair your credit and you mess up again, you'll have to come to me next year for the same thing. So I've gotten to the point to where I can navigate the world, the credit world, without having any hiccups or uh, backsliding or anything like that.
Yeah, and not to mention, I mean, you were a great client because you listened and you followed the model. And I'm glad you brought up the point of models because at Urban Law we use a lot of systems to make it very, very easy for people to follow a system and that we know works. That's a proven system. And so, talk to us a little bit about the systems and the models. How has that been helpful to you? Talk about that.
Oh yes, sir. Very helpful. One of the things you taught me was to be patient and do the due diligence before you expect something. I think a lot of times entrepreneurs have the spirit and the passion of what they would like to see done with their company, but they don't follow the steps necessary to manifest that. So when you move haphazardly or you move prematurely, you can set yourself back 3 steps while trying to take 1 step forward. If you listen to the urban model and what you guys share with entrepreneurs and especially small business owners, if you do it the right way, you can compete on a corporate level. That's where I'm at now with my success story. What I've achieved in 2018, I would have never known if I had not consulted Irvin Law and yourself, Mr. Peters, in 2017. So I'm looking forward to the next set of endeavors that's going to come in 19, and I'm prepared for them because I've been taught not not just what to do, but I've been taught how to do it. You didn't tell me what to do. You taught me how to do it. So, and knowledge itself is worth a millionfold.
That's a good point. Now you came in at one of our core products on the consumer side, working on your consumer credit, but you didn't stop there. You decided to hire Urban Law again. Why?
Well, the proven track record and the success. The reason why I came to you again to improve my business credit is because you did everything that you said you were going to do when improving my personal credit. So if a man is tried and tested and the integrity is there and we're not shortcomings or making shortcuts or taking mistakes and making mistakes and just being fly by the night, your model has proven itself to work. So the same way that you can navigate me in the personal credit world, you can navigate me in the business credit world. And as a small business owner, I seek the help of counsel because you guys know what you're doing. Like when I go to car care clinic, I'm not looking over the mechanic's shoulder because if I could fix it myself, I wouldn't be here. You guys taught me the model and taught me what to do and shared with me the information for me to have knowledge of what's going on and not just do what you say. Teaching is more important than just telling someone what to do. And I'm 100% impressed with the urban law model.
Thank you,
Awesome.
Harris. Thank you very much. We always joke around about uh, our clients being like family, but I feel like, as we work together over these years, we started out uh, in the same circles, but now it's more of a family atmosphere. Talk about some of that and the trust issue, because I think that's something that, coming from you as a small business owner, others may be able to hear that and have a different perspective than me telling them that we treat our clients like family.
Okay, basically, when I hear this a lot. You know what I'm saying? Like even if a person has a 9 to 5 while they're working on their entrepreneurship goals, in certain work environments, you hear the term family, but you're not always treated like family because the core measures of the establishment have to be met. When I work with your company and with you and Mr. Peters as well as a team, everything that you guys told me was honest and forthright. Uh, I listen and not just hear. Everything that Mr. Peters told me and everything that you yourself, Mr. Irvin, told me, I didn't have subsequent questions. So let me make that make sense to the laymen or the people that's watching or interested in using Urban Law PLLC. When someone tells you something, if you have 5 subsequent questions, they didn't make it make sense the first time. I never had subsequent questions with Irvin Law PLLC, Charles Irvin, or Leslie Peters. Everything that they explained to me was finite, it was structured, and there was a plan of action and a strategy of execution. Everything that they told me was going to happen happened as they said it would, and I really appreciated that. That is why, after fixing my personal credit, I sought them for my business credit. Mr. Irvin and Mr. Peters, you guys have now retained my services to dissolve my pre-existing company, uh, get me structured with a new one, business bank accounts, all of the amenities that come with having a law firm, as opposed to just trying to do things on my own. I mean, I'm not the sharpest knife in the drawer, but I can count the spoons and forks. But when you have a legal team
Yeah.
that can advise you on the proper measures one step at a time throughout the whole process, like that's something to be, revered. Like that doesn't happen overnight. Your Uncle Kenny can't tell you how to build a business if he's not a lawyer or hasn't had a business himself. As an entrepreneur, I got a whole lot of advice, but none of it was pertinent to what needed to be done. And if I may allow me to land, I'll give a small example. I went to the barber shop, and a barber shop is a man's territory.
That's right.
I asked the men in the barber shop, hey, I'm thinking about starting a business. Like, what do I need to do? And I got a lot of answers like, well, you need to pray to Jesus, or you need to just ask God to put you in the right favor, or give you. And I'm all for spirituality, and I love it. Like I am a self-proclaimed, what I'm saying, God-fearing man myself. But when I hired Irvin Law PLLC, I was taught strategic things to do as opposed to wishing and hoping. The structure is there. Believing in myself is not the same as being taught what to do. And I hope that made sense. I felt like I was rambling, guys.
No, no, that makes perfect sense. I mean, I think the blueprint is we put you in the situation to build your success so it's sustainable and not us just feeding you. We want you to be an active partner in building out the business.
Okay, and I'm all for that, and I like what you guys are doing, and it's proven to be effective from a consumer standpoint. Like it works. I wouldn't be here if it didn't. I could be doing anything. Like I could be eating chips or drinking some orange juice. Like I want to participate, and then thank y'all for having me.
Oh yeah.
There are people who are like I'm in my 8th year of business. There are people who are just getting started. If I came to you last year. When I say you, I mean you all. When I came to you last year, I was, at a point to where I needed some advice and I needed some legal structure and I needed professional help. If I had have had this help in year 2, I'd be way further than where I am now. And I can only look forward to the future based on the things that you guys are sharing with me, and not just sharing but teaching. The urban law model, it works.
Thank you, Eric.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you. One of the things that we like to talk about, Sean, is a lot of people think that, they say, what do you do for small businesses? I'm just going to run through some of the things, services we provide. I'll scroll at the bottom of the screen for our Facebook audience. We do obviously legal services for small business, but we do business startup and consulting and financial management in terms of teaching you there how to really look at credit as part of your financial management system and how to leverage it so that you can grow. Because the one thing about it, it's all about cash flow and strategy and moving things
Yes,
around.
sir.
If you have a big account, and Sean, you mentioned you can take corporate accounts now, but that requires you to put up a big pot of money on the front end to get that bigger guaranteed money on the back end. And most businesses are not in a position to be able to do that. And so a lot of it is just not having access to it because they think that these resources are just not within their reach. And so we also work with nonprofits a lot. And one of the biggest things for the nonprofit world out there that most people make the mistake on is their bylaws. They get the generic cookie cutter bylaws off the internet, and they are just that. They're good solid bylaws, but they're not customized to your organization or your vision because they can't, because they try to make a boilerplate for everybody. It's a template. Then those things need to be customized to you to make sure it embodies what you're trying to do. Because one of the most heartbreaking stories for me is when I see the founder and creators of nonprofits only years later to be put out of their own nonprofit agency
Well,
because
one
the
of the
bylaws
things
are not crafted right.
I can share with the people that are watching in or listening, or maybe if you even see this tomorrow or the day after. When I went to my bank and restructured my company, the branch manager told me, she said, I can tell you had professional help. Everything that I was looking for, I saw, and it's there. And you are registered. You are a legal entity within the state of Mississippi. My company is based out of Jackson, Mississippi, but I'm sure that if you hire Irvin Law PLLC, they would accommodate you in whatever state you're in. And I stand on that because you guys have proven your success rate with me. Anybody that doesn't agree with it, I tell them just give you a fair shot. Uh, the professionalism that I exuded when I went into the bank or when I go into business meetings, and they understand that I have professional attorneys backing me, and it eliminates a lot of the rigmarole. You're not going to be able to pull the wool over good spirits eyes because good spirits is protected by professional attorneys. Um, One of the things that is very, very important to me is that how y'all continue to work with me and the due diligence that is offered to my company as I continue to grow, and not just where we charge you to do this for you and now we're done. Everything is a whole and as an entirety has always been given to me by Irvin Law PLLC. And I'm a 100% satisfied customer, and I would recommend Irvin Law to anyone, 9 or 99. Any question that you have regarding legal services, business law, or credit, um, Irvin Law can accommodate you.
Talk to him a little bit. Harris, one of the things that I know people, and we were talking about this before you got on, but I think it'd be good for them to hear from you. Uh, Talk about the affordability factor and the different ways to structure payments. We try to make it accommodating for the small business so that you can have the cover that you need and also grow. Has that been your experience with us?
Yeah. I would say that 100% emphatically. Like I would say it out loud if I could do that, just through the communication of the platform. But like out loud, Irvin Law will work with you and make sure that you understand the process throughout the whole way. So when we talk about affordability, we're not just talking about whether I can afford it or not. We're talking about the comfort and believing and feeling that you are getting your money's worth. Because I have, not me per se. I'm saying I, in a general sense, like you was the understood statement and close the door. Like because I have $7,000 to give a lawyer doesn't mean that I'm satisfied that I received $7,000 worth of work. With Irvin Law PLLC, I am 100% satisfied with everything that I've paid for, and I have gotten the measures at least tenfold. The education is the part that is the most responsible for the growth. To give someone an attorney fee and they do what they're going to do, but every time you have the exact same thing happens, you have to pay an attorney fee again. I will never have to pay Irvin Law PLLC for the exact same fees because they teach me the process throughout the way. So I'm looking forward to making the next set of mistakes and you guys correcting those for me. And well, here's the thing: there's a tier. Like right here, I'm making mistakes on this level. Once Irvin Law corrects all these mistakes, I grow. So now I'm looking forward to making mistakes on this level. And I will consult Irvin Law PLLC again. And when I get to this level, I'm looking forward to making mistakes on that level. And eventually I'll be where I want to be step by step. I don't have to keep paying for the same services over and over again because they never taught me. And that's different. Leadership is not telling someone what to do, it's teaching someone how to do it.
I really appreciate that because that is truly our way. We have about 3 minutes left before we wrap up the show. And before we leave, Sean, I'm going to give a chance for you to tell the audience a little bit about Good Spirits Bartending Services and what you guys actually do, because I find it just amazing what you guys do. But I wanted to flip it back to Charles a little bit to kind of lead into that and take us out. So,
Yeah.
Charles.
Well, I mean, I'm so happy that Harris is on, and I'm not gonna take up enough time because Harris has pretty much told everyone what I want them to know to give us a call so that they can come and experience the same thing for their business. But Harris, one of the things that I'm most excited about in your business, and you didn't tell the people, tell them about Good Spirits Bar Consulting. That's the outgrowth of Good Spirits Bartending. Talk to them about what you do in that arena because that puts you on a whole nother level.
Yeah, and
Oh,
tell them about how that idea came and how we help you craft that vision.
okay, well, basically, Good Spirits Bartending Service provides professional bartenders for private parties, events, or functions. We're not bartenders for hire. We're an all-inclusive bartending service. We eliminate the client from having to participate in any of the workload. Uh, from beginning to end, setup of bar and desired location, operational bar services, cleanup of bar area at events in and breakdown. Uh, because of that, Good Spirits and my personally, and with the people that work with me, a wonderful, helpful staff. Shout out to John Davis, Jamon Hunter, Yolanda Roberts, things like that. Good Spirits Bartending Service has grown into Good Spirits Bartending Consulting. I'm currently, I don't know if you guys can see the golf course in the backyard behind me, but I'm currently consulting in the bar for Brookwood Country Club here in Jackson, Mississippi. What I'm going to do is they've acquired their liquor license. We're going to build the bar out, scale everything out. A lot of times people don't think about the things that they need, such as ice scoops and shakers and jiggers and muddlers. You go and you purchase a bunch of liquor, but you don't think about needing soda water, tonic water, or have you even thought about ginger ale or peach schnapps? Uh, so Good Spirits Bar Consulting is grown out of teaching you how to manage and make money off of the bar and profitability for your business, restaurant, or bar in the upcoming months. So we're proud to be a part of the Brookwood community. Uh, this is not our first rodeo. I've done bartending and consulting in New Orleans, Three Palms Bar and Grill. I've done the same thing for various bars around the Tri-County area and in the regional area as far as like multiple states, also in Tennessee. So Good Spirits Bar Consulting is just basically a growth of Good Spirits Bartending Service. Knowledge and know-how, speed and accuracy, drink knowledge, knowing the recipes, things of that nature. And a lot of this success is due to Irvin Law PLLC, because they put me on the right path to be able to facilitate it within the legal confines of business structure. There are things that you don't want to do or get into if you're not licensed or you're not prepared to do them through the state or, FYI, you need to know what you're doing in order to do it.
Well, that's a good point. And Charles, as we get ready to close it out, as we promise, I guess all the time. Thank you for joining us today.
My
Uh,
pleasure to be here. Thank y'all for having me.
it was a pleasure to have you here today.
Leslie, before we get out of here, Harris, tell the people how to get in touch with you. Tell them where they can find you on the internet, Instagram, Facebook. Because you got a lot of short stories and bar knowledge to share. And I know there are a lot of people with corporate events, weddings, bar mitzvahs, uh, you name it. And they need
Hey,
this.
man, your grandmother having her 80th birthday party, man, we'll come right to the family reunion and sit up in the backyard.
Yeah.
No event too small or too big.
What's
You
the
can
what's,
find us
what's the
at Good
number?
Spirit.
What's the number, Harris?
You can find us at goodspiritsbartending.com on Facebook. I mean, on goodspiritsbartending.com on the internet. You can find us at Good Spirits Bartending Service on Facebook. You can find us at Good Spirits Bartending on Instagram. You can contact us by email at info@goodspiritsbartending.com. And we look forward to hearing from any and everybody. We like working with people and making new connects and friends. And we're just excited to be here. We're in our 8th year, and we didn't make it to 8 because we are unscrupulous or doing anything other than what's supposed to be done. We're
You
accredited by
know,
the Better Business Bureau, and if we were fraud, you would have found out in year 2, and we wouldn't have made it past year 3.
well, Harris, there's one other thing you've taught me about the bartending process that I didn't hear you mention. I think people need to know. You said professional bartenders also manage consumption, and to
Yeah,
make
well, what
sure
you want to
that.
do is, especially at a situation like a wedding reception or a corporate event where everything is free, we make sure that everybody can have whatever they want, but we make sure they get them one at a time. That way, no one, leaves the event over intoxicated or causes an incident inside the event. Good Spirits provides liquor liability insurance up to $1 million, $50,000 per occurrence. Someone trips over the DJ cord, or someone slips and falls and puts a hole in the sheetrock. There are things that are going to fall on Good Spirits liability and not the event holder itself or themselves. So we pride ourselves in, like I say, not just being bartenders for hire, but a complete all-inclusive bartending service. When you call us, we eliminate you from having to participate in any other workload.
Well, and I tell you what, guys, if you we lost Harris audio for a second, but if
Can you
if
hear
you
me now?
can't, we can now. We can now. If you can't get in touch with Mr. Harris, you can always call us in Urban Law. We can certainly put you in touch with Mr. Harris. As we like to say before we get out of here at Urban Law, we want to be here for you. We want to help your business as well. When you call, we answer 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
And
When you
now
call,
let
we
me just
answer.
recap on that. That is very important. I would like to say, based on you saying that, I hadn't thought of that, but I will be 100% testament to. I've never called Urban Law PLLC and was strung along or drug along. When they tell me they're going to communicate with me, it has always happened. And I understand like things happen. People have family and children, and work. Meetings go over, but I've never been strung along by Urban Law PLLC. Like 24 hours is 24 hours.
All right. Well, we're going to get you back to your Friday. Charles, you have any final words as we head out?
Nah, man, I'm finna get ready and start slinging drinks right now. I'm
All
where I
right.
need to be.
All
All
right.
right.
Well, thank you for joining
Later.
us. And to all of you out there, have a happy Friday. Have a great weekend. And we'll see you next Friday, same time,
Same
same
bad
channel.
channel.
That's right. Ain't bad channel.
All
Everybody have
right.
a great
All right.
weekend. And give us a
Hey,
call.
Leslie, Chuck. Hey, y'all be safe, man. We appreciate y'all for having us.
Yes,
All
sir.
right.
All
Will
right.
do.